Hi, Emily.
Hey,
Hey, Sarah.
Jonte, how are you?
I'm excellent. And you?
I'm good. It's nice to finally meet you.
Likewise, I've heard great things.
Good. Glad to hear that.
And
Your team was
Sarah,
just talking very
Hi,
wonderful things
Jonte.
about you.
thank you. I speak with him every day, so I would hope so. Not, I need to course correct.
If not,
Um,
I need to course correct.
um, so you ladies have been at the forefront of, I would say, the change in the economy and what's going on. And so I want to have everyone introduce themselves. And I want to allow as much time as possible for you all to talk about what you're seeing in this crazy market, what folks should be looking for, how we can help, and all of that.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Emily. Everybody calls me the Crypto Recruiter. And I've been with the Crypto Recruiters for 3 years. It's been an absolute whirlwind. I mean, starting in January 2020, going through today, there's been an immense amount of change. And we're really grateful to still be trucking along. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Sarah, the Director of Recruiting for the Crypto Recruiters. Really excited to join the team a few months ago, but really just love Emily's vision for the company, and absolutely like the space itself is exciting, and we are continuing to see it grow. So really excited to be part of the team.
Excellent. So, with that enthusiasm, I'll introduce myself as well. I'm John Tay Harrell, CFO of ZenLedger. We simplify crypto taxes with software. And so some folks think of us as the TurboTax for crypto. Um, we have a pretty sizable team, and hopefully, as we continue to grow this year and next year, we'll see more team members. And so we may be asking for your services. But let's dive in. Emily, talk about where the market is now versus where it's been. That's like, I think, an incredible start to kick off.
So the market's down, right? There are a lot of companies that have paused their roles. There's a lot of companies that aren't hiring. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible, right? Which is great. There still are companies that are hiring. But what's interesting is a lot of companies aren't advertising that they're hiring. They're either internally going, hey, we need a chief marketing officer. Oh, crap, what do we do? And then they're just pinging their networks. Some are posting jobs, and then some are using recruiting firms. Right. So right now it's critical to be well networked in the space, right? Knowing the right people, your network is your net worth, right? Having these informational interviews, just really getting to know your network and allowing your network to get to know you, because you never know what's going to cross someone's desk. In previous years, 2022 was a huge year for us, absolutely huge year. Over the past 3 years, we've helped 200 people get crypto jobs, which is just
Wow.
outstanding. But things have slowed down very much, right? So now it's just that process of relationship building, following up with people. So it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. We're slowly working our way, and a lot of our clients have pushed off hiring until March and April. So we are expecting a huge uptick, honestly, with the companies that we're speaking with.
Okay, that's good to hear. And Sarah, how has the initiation been?
It's been really exciting joining the team. I will definitely stand behind, what Emily said as well. One thing to really add, though, I think, there has been an increase in engineering roles. So a lot of the companies are really focusing on like hyper growth, business development, and marketing roles. And we've seen it shift. So now there's an increase in engineering. So blockchain developers, Solidity developers, smart contract developers. So that's really where we've seen it shift to.
Okay, that's good to hear because I think there's been a lot of conversations and, of course, headline news about the shakeout, and whoever is left is in a much stronger position if they've done some of the right hires. or and also if they have positioned themselves not as kind of hype people, but are building something that's enduring. And so, Emily, the question is, are you seeing more emphasis on more qualified, whether it's web3, blockchain, that kind of experience, even if it's somewhat shallow or limited, right? The white paper for Bitcoin is only since 2009. And so someone saying they're a 15-year expert is like, okay, that's interesting, right? So what's your perspective in terms of like, the talent that people are asking for?
Companies are always looking for talent that comes from the ecosystem, right? Because they understand the community. If you've worked in crypto, you have experience in the space, you understand the needs of the community. So I think companies are always prioritizing candidates that come from the space. But you know what's interesting is that they're really allowing, maybe allowing isn't the right word, but considering vast experiences as experience. So for example, I was looking at a job description and it was 1+ years of experience in Web3 or at a DAO, right? So a DAO is a great place for candidates to gain experience. Without experience, I think what's really beneficial are certifications, because it shows that you have knowledge of the space, you're passionate about the space, right? Because if you weren't passionate, why would you spend money and all of your time going and getting a certification, right? But being able to establish that you are an expert, right? Because nobody's really an expert, but you're knowledgeable about the space is critical. A lot of these startups, they just don't have time to ramp people up. They don't have time to go through the basics of blockchain. So they need people that are already knowledgeable about it. So we are seeing a shift towards more tenured candidates in Web3, right? Those that have been in the space 1, 5, 6 years, versus those that are looking to enter, right? So what's interesting is with all the layoffs, companies have the ability to be very selective. So they're definitely being selective. I think it's harder for candidates that don't have Web3 experience to break into the space now more than ever, just because there is such a plethora of Web3 talent available.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And Sarah, maybe can you add, like, what's that introduction to the crypto recruiter? I know you're all over social media, and I know that journey is varied, but how can someone get in contact, and how often or when do they find you? Like, where are you, so like in terms of accessibility?
Sure. They can reach out. Anyone can reach out to us on the cryptorecruiters.io. The team is all listed on there. We've also, so that's a great avenue. We have access to our LinkedIn profiles. LinkedIn, we're very active on LinkedIn as well, Instagram and Twitter. But one thing that really sets us aside, and I'm really glad you brought this up, is as recruiters, we're very responsive. We care, right? With everybody, there has been just a ton of people looking for new roles, but we make time. We work really round the clock to make sure we get back to everyone. Even if we can't help you now, we will prepare you and do what we can to help you later. So that really sets us aside in the industry. But LinkedIn, you can reach us there.
Okay.
If you Google the crypto recruiters, we should pop right up. I mean, we're on Instagram at the crypto recruiter. We're on Telegram at the crypto recruiter. So we're all over.
That's great. So folks have the word if they're listening in. Let's shift gears a bit. There are, and Emily, you kind of mentioned this, with so much talent that's been impacted recently, the network is one thing that you mentioned, right, is equal to net worth. What are other strategies you're seeing from folks who, again, they transition from TradFi to Web3 or from another field, and so that network is a bit more shallow for them, aside from the folks they were working with and maybe a conference or two? How are you, like, what are strategies you see for folks that are trying to get those intros?
So one of the things that we do every Wednesday is blockchain brunch, where we get anywhere between 300 to 700 people show up on our LinkedIn Live. They can raise their hand and we'll actually audit their LinkedIn profile for them. So
Wow.
I think one of the challenges is when it comes to growing your network and connecting is people want to connect with like-minded individuals, those that are in the same space, as well as those that are in the same location. So by optimizing your profile to give the appearance that you are in Web3, you're passionate about Web3, Web3 is your driving factor, then more people are going to connect with you. You know, there's a couple things to be aware of when growing your network on LinkedIn. You can either send a note without a connection request or send a very thoughtful note in your connection request, right? Two different strategies to use. And then on top of that, you know, getting involved in Discord is huge, especially from people that are looking to transition with no experience. Go online, find some really fantastic projects, join their Discords, have conversations, and you can even reach out to their leadership team or their Discord moderators on Discord saying, hey, here's what I specialize in. Do you guys need any help? Right? Putting yourself out there, I think, is half the battle. So networking on Telegram, getting into those groups, just not being shy, reaching out, saying hello, asking for those informational interviews. But, you know, one of my favorite hacks is on LinkedIn in the search bar, just put in the word crypto and then filter by people and then filter by location, right? So I'm in Chicago, so I filter crypto people Chicago. There's 400 people in Chicago that have the word crypto on their profile. So I'm just going to press that button down the list and connect with as many people as I can. But you know, you have to know that there's hundreds of people doing the same thing. So you have to make yourself stand out. So one of my favorite techniques on LinkedIn is you can actually send a voice message. On the right-hand corner of your phone, there's a little microphone. Press that button and hold, and you can actually send a voice message to someone. It helps you stand out. It puts a voice to the name. It makes it a little bit more personal. And I think putting effort into growing your network is critical. Sorry if that was like a run-on answer.
No, it was a great answer. I learned something every day. So, and today you're educating. So questions that you want to cover or topics you want to cover. I don't necessarily want to ask too many questions because I think I've covered a lot of my material, but I wanted to leave time for any hot button topics that you want to speak to. They're especially relevant now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a ton. So I think even though the job market is tough right now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop looking, and that doesn't mean you should stop applying, right? It is critical that you set yourself up for success in your job hunt into Web3. So doing things like setting up job alerts, right? You can set up job alerts on LinkedIn. You can set them up on Google. But additionally, there's a ton of crypto Web3 job boards out there that have job alerts, right? So you'll get an email every day about new jobs that are related to the keywords that you've asked to receive notifications about. So one of my favorite places to find crypto jobs is crypto-careers.com. Incredible platform. And they have almost every opening on there. I mean, it really is a crazy great platform. So I'm constantly encouraging people to do that. But I mean, the biggest thing is just don't give up. Even if you have no experience, it's all about persistence, right? Squeaky wheel gets the oil. So that's one of the things is just don't give up on your career in Web3. I mean, even if you're in Web3, a lot of people are tempted to go back into Web2, and we got to steam ahead, because if we go back into Web2, a company may have a question. Well, why would you leave crypto? Why would you leave Web3? Right? But instead of you being able to answer that question, your resume, a piece of paper, is answering that question for you. So now we're getting into impressions, right? Someone looks at your resume for 3 to 30 seconds. What's the impression that they're getting? And what does that impression make them feel? And is that impression going to lead them to want to speak with you? So
very insightful.
It is. And, you know, another thing that I would add to that is, you know, the future of Web3 is so exciting, right? There's so much potential out there. And really being able to take accountability for your own learning, for those, even for those searching for a job, right? Doing their research, things are ever changing. I mean, we still learn something new every single day in Web3. So, you know, and we encourage that for our network to do that as well. Go put yourself out there, learn, do your research. There's so many different areas of Web3, like DeFi, NFTs, right? So many really exciting things, and find something you're really passionate about and go after it. So
good tips. Maybe shifting gears slightly, speaking to diversity, or whatever the kind of du jour kind of phrase is. Are you seeing women, minorities apply and get those jobs? And if so, maybe share tips, tricks, or just how to go about that path, and any success stories or call outs.
Great question. So we're definitely seeing an influx of candidates from women as well as minorities, which is outstanding, right? I love the diversity in the space, and companies highly value it. There are specific companies that are, very focused on finding female leadership, or very focused on, giving people opportunities. When it comes to the acceptance rate, I do believe it's lower than it should be, because companies are looking for the best talent, right? As a startup, they need people that can jump into the seats, hit the ground running, right? So unfortunately, they tend to be skipping over diversity candidates to find that perfect experience, right? So that's where it gets back to networking and knowing the right people. Making sure that they're, aware of what you bring to the table. And a lot of people send cover letters. Unless you're a journalist, or in a writing position, the likelihood of or executive leadership, the likelihood of your cover letter being read is very small. So we need to be unique in our approach. So what I've done with a couple of my candidates is I have them record a 30-second mini video of themselves and put it into a Google Drive. So when you're applying to the position, you can have a link on your resume that says introduction to me, right? And then they click on that link, it takes them to Google Drive, and now they get to watch this little mini video of you explaining why you're a fit for the job and all about your blockchain experience and knowledge. So I think sometimes we have to take that extra step, put that extra effort in to really get past that hump of, hey, I may not have the exact experience that you're looking for, but here's what else I bring to the table.
Great insights. So ladies, any last topics, points?
We covered a lot, didn't we?
We did.
Other than, network, reach out to people, submit your application. You know what? Here's the one piece of advice that I would give. Be strategic in your reach out. So one of the challenges that we're having right now are applicant tracking systems, right? These are databases where you submit your resume. When you apply on someone's website, it goes into an ATS, an applicant tracking system. So piece of advice would be update your resume for every position you apply to. Make sure that the required skills that are in the job description are in your resume, because the applicant tracking system is scanning your resume for these keywords. And if they don't have it, sometimes it'll throw your resume out. So a great place to add these keywords is in the summary of your resume, right? Really quick, just add a quick sentence. If they're looking for, experience with Canva or Photoshop, right? You can just quickly add in Canva and Photoshop at the end of your summary. So always be updating. Sarah, what do you have?
Really, I just want to leave it off with the future of Web3 is bright and exciting, right? And we really just want to focus that we see it's tough. And you mentioned this earlier, Jonte, right? When we see all these terrible things on the news, right? Or read these articles about the shakeout, it's really hard to see that from our end as the experts in hiring, right? Just to see what we see on the back end. The future of Web3 is bright. Stay focused, focus on the networking piece like Emily has shared. Reach out to us. We'd love to help get you into the industry or help whoever's already in the industry, but future is bright.
Amazing. Emily, Sarah, want to thank you for your time. All those listening in, watching, the Crypto Recruiter is your destination. Thanks.
Bye, guys.